Hi there. So today I'm going to talk to you about three things. One, your developers are hacking you. Two, the developers don't even know. And three, there's a way to prevent it. So I'm going to talk specifically, hopefully you can understand my English. I don't speak Russian or Kazakh yet. I've been here 4 times to Kazakhstan. But I'll speak English. Hopefully you can follow what I'm saying. I'm going to talk specifically about Shai-Hulud. Shai-Hulud is a very famous hack that happened last year, and it is what's called a software supply chain hack. It's a hack in application security. And what we're going to talk about is how your dependencies can turn on you. So this is the deep dive. It's actually going to be very technical. So hopefully you like a bit of technical application security. I'm going to show you one hack very deep and how it's been very useful to break into other systems. Now, what we see here is a map of the world with all the different countries that are implementing laws around SBOM. SBOM means Software Bill of Materials. We see in Kazakhstan, MBRK, in India, SEBI and CERTIN, in Singapore, MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, US. All these different governments are making a law that you must keep an SBOM and you must know what's in your software. And the reason why they've done that is because of the hack I'm going to show you. It's a very popular hack. It's very effective. So I'm going to talk to you about these recent supply chain attacks. I'm going to talk to you about Shai-Hulud. I'll explain what Shai-Hulud is. And then I'm going to also show you the timeline, how it went from one vulnerability all the way through to infecting the entire ecosystem. So what's the timeline? So in August 2025, these libraries, Chalk and Debug, were broken into. Also at the same time, this other library called NX was broken into. Then on the back of that was the Shai-Hulud. Shai-Hulud is the name of the worm from the movie Dune, D-U-N-E, Dune, is the worm in that movie. They used the name Shai-Hulud because this exploit was actually a worm. Then we had 2 more phases of this same attack, so there was multiple phases. It's been very effective. Then they actually had the other exploit, the Phantom Raven, which is another one. And then there's some more again, Indonesian food, React to Shell. And then even this year we had the exploit and hacks on Trivy. Trivy was actually a supply chain attack. Trivy is an open source scanner maintained by Aquasec. Aquasec is a cybersecurity firm that makes Trivy available to you, and it got hacked. And I'm going to show you how this is all happening. So firstly, what is Shai-Hulud? Shai-Hulud is a self-replicating worm targeting the NPM ecosystem. It's the first widely discovered automated worm in NPM. It actually compromised hundreds and hundreds of packages very, very quickly using automation. Now, the primary objective of this worm was to steal secrets, NPM tokens, GitHub tokens, cloud credentials. The reason why this is important is because this attack will actually steal your credentials. And this is actually what happened to Trivy. When the hackers broke in, they stole the GitHub tokens of Trivy and were able to publish new versions of the Trivy project using the tokens they had stolen. Okay, so what's the attack? How did it actually work? So the first stage here is the initial compromise. Now, the initial compromise occurred because the maintainer of this library clicked on a phishing email. So one person, one maintainer clicked on a phishing email, and then their credentials were stolen, And then the hackers actually spent time doing research, and what they did is they poisoned that package. So that library that they attacked is they actually made changes to it. And when somebody downloaded the new version, it actually ran this bundle, which then stole secrets. The exfiltration is the next stage. They actually took those secrets and sent it to a GitHub repo, which they called Shai Hulud. Once they'd done this, they now have your secrets. And then they infected other packages, and it rolled on through the whole world. This is actually the malware here. I'm going to talk you through it. So what the hacker did was he compromised the NX package, and he published a new version. So this is actually the commit here. Hope I got a laser beam. Have a laser beam? No, I don't have a laser beam. Here on line 3, this is the new version that the hacker published of this library. So this is the package JSON of NX. NX is a good library, very popular library in NPM. The hacker published a new version of it, 21.7. And the key change that he made to the code is here, line 173. What he did was he changed the post install script. This is actually the installer of the malware here. And this line here, node telemetry.js, what this does is when you install this new version of NX, it actually runs this post install script automatically. This is part of the installation process. All NPM projects have this script technology, and if this script becomes compromised, the hacker can actually run code on the developer's machine. Now, why is that effective? Well, many times, developer machines are not inspected for processes that run on that machine. So normally, developers are allowed to run code like this, and they don't even know this code is running as part of the installer. This is a big gap in the knowledge of developers that these sorts of scripts are actually running as part of NPM. This is a normal process. And if developers don't understand this, they're going to get exploited. Now, why is this important? Well, PyPy, which is the Python package manager, does the same thing. It runs a script in Python when a package is installed. So be aware of that. Let's have a look at the next bit of the code. This is telemetry.js. This is the JavaScript here. There's some interesting things in here. This prompt is interesting to read this. We're seeing evidence of AI here, which is interesting. Now, what's this file here? What's this doing? Okay, what this is doing is it's reading that file on line 144, temp inventory.js, txt. So what the hacker has done here is they've actually built up an inventory of all of the secrets on your machine. That's in that text file. Then what they're doing here on line 152 is they're splitting that file into lines, and they're just looping through the lines one at a time. That's what this is doing. Every time they get a secret, they do this. They're generating a payload. They're encoding it. So here, they're base 64 encoding the secret. And then here, what they're doing is they're sending the secret to this URL here. Super secret website, github.com. They just send your secrets to GitHub, public repo. Now, why is this important? Well, GitHub is probably whitelisted at your company. It probably seemed like a good URL. The hacker's just using public website to exfiltrate your secrets. Very, very simple. So now your secrets are on GitHub. That's it. all of your secrets have been stolen. So why is this important? Well, if you want to clean up is quite difficult because the cleanup requires you to get rid of all these secrets and rotate them. If you do not rotate all the secrets that have been stolen, you're going to get hacked again. This is what happened to Aquasec and Trivi. Because they got hacked a few weeks ago, they rotated all their secrets and they told everybody they'd done it, but they hadn't. There were still some secrets they were using, and the hackers just reused one of those secrets, and that's how they compromised Trivi. So the cleanup's very important. You've got to get rid of all your secrets if you get hacked. It's not just a matter of removing this library, you've got to clean up as well. Now, what's interesting about this is this NX library was part of the entire kill chain. What we saw was that there was prior campaigns, and the hackers have actually been doing a lot of continuous work on this hack. So for us as a vendor, when we look at this, what we see is very, very determined attackers. These attackers have a lot of money. They've got a lot of resources. They can spend months and months and months working on this. So we all asked ourselves, who are these people who can do this? And what we discovered is this is actually North Korea. This is actually a country. Only a country has the amount of money to pay the people, A, to work on this for so long, but also there's a lot of skill involved in what they've done here. This is not a beginner. For example, one of the things they did is they did social engineering to get the maintainer of this library to click on a phishing attack. So social engineering. Then also they understand how package managers work. It's another skill set. Then they understand how pipelines work and tokens and secrets. There's a lot of skills here. This is just not a beginner. These are real experts. So you've got to understand that the nature of this attack has changed. I've been at Sonotype, our company, for 10 years. And when I started, the biggest issue we had was vulnerabilities, finding and fixing vulnerabilities. That's no longer the biggest issue. The biggest issue is malware like this. We're seeing malware grow and grow and grow. So just remember that. Experts. These are real experts. Okay. Now, if you have a look at the exploit, the first one that was attacked was NX. Then these other libraries are attacked. But then the key thing to know is that once your GitHub token is stolen and someone actually breaks in, they can compromise your packages. And if you see here, this is the list, just 20 or 30 libraries out of 500 that were hacked at the same time. 500 separate projects all had their secrets stolen, and there was malware versions published of all of these libraries. This is actually on our blog. You can read an article where we write about this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go just into one of them. I'm just going to show you this one here. This is CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is another security vendor. And the question is, how did CrowdStrike get hacked again? I don't know if you remember last year, CrowdStrike got hacked a few times. So both CrowdStrike, Trivi, Aquasec, a number of checkmarks, all of these security vendors were hacked. And they're all hacked through supply chain attacks. And so even vendors who work in cybersecurity don't understand this problem. Because if they understood the problem, this wouldn't happen to them. Because they trust these open source packages. You cannot trust too much. You have to be very careful about what you install from the internet. And even these vendors who get paid, these are billion-dollar companies, don't understand the problem. Okay, why don't they understand the problem? This is a dependency tree. This is complex. Okay, so this website here, you can just get the URL. What you can do is you can put the name of a library or a package into the search, And what it does is the package that you're searching for is here in the middle, and then every single dot here is a dependency. These are all the direct and transitive dependencies that are used by this CrowdStrike project. Now, this particular library that I'm pointing to here is actually one of the compromised libraries from the Shai-Hulud worm. So it's one of their dependencies. And as you can see, it's not a direct dependency, it's a transitive dependency. So the maintainer of this project probably doesn't even know that he's got this library. And he probably doesn't know that he's got a compromised version of that library in his dependency tree. So what happens is you can use a library that uses another library, and that library can get hacked. And then you get hacked because the dependencies flow through your tree. And as you can see, hundreds and hundreds of libraries here, any one of them can get compromised. And if you're not careful, that compromise can hit you, which is what happened to CrowdStrike. Now, I just want to take you through the timeline of one of these attacks. So this is the chalk and debug compromise that occurred in September. The malicious version was published at 1:12. These times are all US times. Then at 2 o'clock, an hour later, people started talking about it. And then at 3 o'clock, they identified that there's a malicious version of this library. These two libraries, chalk and debug, are very, very popular libraries in NPM. Very popular libraries. Now, we have this tool at Sonatype called Firewall. We actually block immediately. So we actually don't allow new versions in until they've been checked. So we would not allow this to happen to you, but anybody else would have actually downloaded this version and had the malware. Okay. So we have this firewall. This will block. We actually check every version of the library when it's published. So what we do is we say, new version's published, we say it's pending review, we block it. Then at 1:13, we identified it as being suspicious. It doesn't have a CVE yet, it just looks bad. So we block it. Okay. And then at 4:38, it actually got a vulnerability attached to it. Not a CVE, but a Sonatype vulnerability. This is another one, same thing again. We block these. All of these we block. This is the Shai-Hulud. We block this as well. Now, I'm just going to show you how this actually all works. So I'm just going to jump through a couple of these. You can get these slides. Yep, okay. I'm going to explain to you what the weakness is in the world. So this is the package JSON. Package JSON is what we call the manifest. This is a description in NPM of how to download new versions of libraries. And NPM uses a thing known as semantic versioning. There's a major, minor, and patch version of new versions to download. Now, usually, developers use these shortcuts. And what they say here, this is caret 4.1.0, and what this means is, give me everything from 4.1.0 up to 5, but not including 5. So give me all the 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.7 versions. That's what this means. This little one here says just give me the patch versions, but not the minor ones or the major ones. That's what this one means. This one here is just a different syntax for the same thing. Just give me patches, but don't upgrade me. Okay. Now, when you do an NPM install, it actually looks for the highest version that matches the range using this syntax. It's very common in NPM to do this. Okay? If you do an NPM update, it bumps to the latest version in the range. Now, What happened with Shai Hulud was that they just upgraded the version, the patch version or the minor version, knowing that people will automatically download the new version. So the hackers know that people are using these version ranges and they're going to download automatically new versions that match. Now, why is that a problem? Well, if you're making a malware, people don't know that there's malware there, but NPM will always go out and look for the new version automatically. So it downloads the new version before the malware is identified. So now we have a problem. The malware spreads faster than the security researchers can find it. Now, there's some more things that cause this to be a big problem. So firstly, this is the CrowdStrike project. And what I did is I actually had a look at their project, and I can see that they're using version ranges. See that? This is CrowdStrike. So what does this mean? CrowdStrike are going to download all the new versions of these libraries automatically when their NPM sees it. So if I publish a malware here, I know that CrowdStrike are going to install it. That means my hack's going to start working. All right. Now, Dependabot. Who here has heard of Dependabot? You've heard of Dependabot? Dependabot. Okay. So what is Dependabot? Dependabot is a tool from GitHub. And what does Dependabot do? Dependabot automates the process for upgrading your dependencies. It automatically goes and gets the latest. Dependabot does that. Dependabot doesn't check if it's vulnerable, it just goes and downloads the latest. Now, this is from the Dependabot documentation. You can use Dependabot to automatically keep the dependencies and packages you use updated to the latest version, even when they don't have any known vulnerabilities. But can you see the problem? If I publish malware, Dependabot doesn't know that there's malware there, it just goes and upgrades it. So Dependabot's actually going to automate the spreading of this worm. Can you see the problem here? If you have a version range in your project and Dependabot, now you're going to get hacked very, very quickly. Now let's see what happens with Dependabot. Okay. Again, this is the CrowdStrike project that I've been talking about. When Dependabot upgrades the library, it creates this record, but I can see Dependabot's being used. And it's bumping the versions. So Dependabot's actually automating the spreading of the worm. That's how 500 projects can get hacked in 2 hours through automation. Dependabot plus version ranges, now you're getting hacked. Okay. Here's another one. This project here, Tiny Color, they were hacked. Again, Dependabot. Dependabot's the automation of the spreading. Another one that was hacked, again, Dependabot. This one here is using NX. This is one of the compromised projects. Version ranges, Dependabot, you're hacked. Can you see how these things are being chained together? Okay, so what do we say at Sonatype? So Sonatype, we say we automate the software supply chain. We have these public repos, NPM, but you've got to have a component firewall. You have this between the public internet and your private network. Do not allow libraries in until they've been checked. You've got to block new versions of libraries. Don't automatically download malware. Then you must make sure that all of your tools go through a central repository on premises. We have Nexus, is our product, Nexus repo. So your developers, your source control, your build, all go through Nexus repository. Do not allow your builds to go direct to the internet. Everything's got to go through this control mechanism. That way you're protected. We have an overall solution, which is our Nexus platform. We can generate S-bombs, we can scan containers. The idea is we can create an S-bomb out of your project here, and you can send that to the government, send that to your customers, so you know what's in your project. Sonotype, we were ranked #1 in the world. This is what they call the Forrester Wave. This is like a vendor assessment that's done globally. There's basically the leaders, we're #1, the middle, and the bottom ones. The reason why Aquasec, JFrog, GitHub are down here is because they rely on the NVD. The NVD is a national vulnerability database. This is no longer being maintained by the US government. They ran out of money. The NVD only does critical and severe vulnerabilities for software that's operated by the US government. They will not look at any other vulnerabilities. And they don't look at malware either. We do. So these vendors here are here for a reason. Now, of course, Aquasec got hacked many, many times, and so too did Checkmarx. But that's another point. But they just don't have good data, and they don't understand the supply chain. This is obvious they don't understand what I'm talking about, because they wouldn't have been hacked if they understand the problem. I think what I've taught you today, you would actually know more about software supply chain and the hack than these vendors do. Because if they understood what I've taught you today, they wouldn't have gotten hacked. But they are trusting libraries from the internet and installing them and allowing themselves to get hacked. And worse, it goes to their customers, you, and you get hacked because you're using a vendor that doesn't manage this problem properly. So you've got to understand the supply chain. You've got to understand these libraries cannot be trusted, and do not install things from the internet. Check everything before you install it. Our product will automate this for you, but even if you don't buy our product, there are some things you can do. So pin your versions. Don't just download a version range, and check every library before you install it. In fact, you can put a delay in for a couple of days, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. That's a simple control that costs you nothing. That's built into NPM. You can do that with a configuration change. But more importantly, if you want to manage your vulnerabilities and have a proper malware detection from the people who create the data, that's us, then use our Sonotype firewall. We have a partner here in Kazakhstan called AST Cyber Labs who are running this conference, and they are very expert in our product. That can help you if you're interested. We have many good customers here in Kazakhstan as well. And with that, my time is up. This is just explaining why we're #1. But that's it. That's me, everybody. Thanks for your time today.